is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason OG. Do you want to crack a Red Bull, mate? I've just done 3.5 of the best.
Yeah, that's solid. That's a solid word.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
So,
On a Red Bull.
ready to go for the show. I drove back from the Nines over the weekend. Goldie stopped in at Foster, where my partner's from, and got up this morning at 4:30. Did the notes for, finished off the notes for some of the show last night. I'm pumped for this show. I was just saying before we get to the Nine stuff.
Yeah.
And you had a chance to go on. You don't really go on the YouTube and look at the comments too much, but for sure,
wow,
we've enticed. And I will say, just with the community that we've built on there already, I reckon they've definitely, they know our flavour as well, but they're switched on. They know what they're talking about.
They're not dickheads.
There's some really good ones.
There was no oh, you guys wankers, do you know what I mean? Like, just, you're always going to get I expect that, right? But they were very constructive and a lot of really good questions. It was all about footy, how much they miss the footy and everything like that. I was just like, wow.
There was a couple that disagreed with us on on a couple of lineup stuff, but that's to be expected.
That's their opinion.
That's to be expected.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and write back to you and argue.
No. And when I'm going through the Tigers lineup, like some of the 50-50s, I'm not going to lie, I'm not super engaging across a lot of the guys that are squad members that could be progressing. Benji debuted so many young guys last year that I still haven't had a proper look at. We're across some of the more popular teams, or not popular teams, teams that were more competitive last year.
Even Parramatta, someone said, how is that the fullback a kid? What's he, fucking 21? He played 6 games? He's a kid.
One game. No, he's played one game.
That's why he's a kid.
Yeah.
How can you call him a kid?
The comparison was with
I can call him a kid because I'm 44 and he's 21 and he's played 1 first grade game. So fucking shut up.
I think the comparison was with Talangi on that one, and them both being young kids. But we've been, I guess, because we got, even though it's still a small sample size, we've seen 10 games and we've seen some really good moments from both Talangi. Isaiah Yongi's debut was unreal. 300 metres.
Yeah, he can play.
The thing that the knock on Yongi and I think he's going to be great for Parramatta is Dylan Edwards runs 300 metres every game. Dane Laurie ran 300 metres when he played there. So
it's not a big deal.
I'm excited to see what he can do outside of that system, because they've set the benchmark over that Penrith fullbacks and how
there's no footage on him or anything like that. You can't really cut that much work up on him. You'll do it now. If you know what he's doing, there'll be so much footage on him.
There'll be diehards that have got a lot of New South Wales Cup 20s.
But it's not the same. Once you play first grade and reserve grade, it's such a big jump.
Yep.
I hope he plays well.
Yeah.
If he can play like that every game, but hey.
He'll be a key piece. If
he's a fucking massive piece.
If he's that dude, Para legit.
I rate him. I think he's good. I just I'm not going to go, he played 1 game, he's a superstar.
Yep. All right, let's get on to the Nines. Speaking of superstars.
You got to give me 5 years.
Yeah, at least
You've got to give me 50 games.
3 years, 50 games.
50 games, or to be a first grader, 100 games.
Yeah. Or Blaze Talangi 10.
Or Blaze, just do 10 and sign a fucking 10 deal.
I can't laugh.
Give me the 9s. Give me it.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard to laugh throughout this because I got proper. Yeah, I done me Bryce. Yeah, rib cartilage, felt the pop. So
fucking shut up.
Yeah, this guy from the Southern Sharks.
What did he rip you for?
Picked me up. We're playing.
Were they exposed or was it just your?
Nah, I went to go get the bumpers into him. Had great technique. Picked me up. I turned around because I felt myself going, little offload, and he just kept on driving. He was on top of me. I think he heard it too because we just heard me going.
Feel bad.
Me carrying on after it, and he's like, sorry, bro, and I was like, yeah, sweet, bro, get off me. Because I'd already offloaded it.
Fuck off.
I ran straight to the sideline. That was my tournament, but fuck, it was a good tournament, Mace.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ant and the team at Nines Premier League for putting it on. Congrats to the Southside Dogs. They beat the Salty Pigs in the final. We went really well for the RLPA this year. We won our 3 pool games, won our first quarter final and got knocked out by the Salty Pigs in the semis.
Fair game? Was it? I mean, you were close?
We only lost by a conversion against the Salty Pigs. So we scored a try, they scored a try, and they kicked their goal.
It'd suck if you guys won, but...
Yeah, it sort of would.
It would.
I was thinking that.
I was like, it's not a good look if you win.
Yeah.
You want a team like the South Side or the Salty Pigs, young kids and a bit of money for them and everything
Yeah,
like that.
because some of those players, they've got some NRL experience sprinkled in.
Yeah.
But, imagine there's a lot of tradies, a lot of guys
Big
that
time,
are
part-time, man.
they take the risk of playing club footy on the weekend and have to, be doing some labouring jobs and they play for the love
They're
of the game.
slugging it, mate.
So there was a part of me that was like, I looked around at the boys and we've all had, decent enough careers and some have done really well, some have done, whatever it may be with their money. So I was like, it would have been nice to win it because we were just going to chuck it all on the bar and have a big fucking lash.
That's all.
But I was sort of happy that the two teams that were in the final had maybe 3 or 4 guys with first grade experience, and the rest of the guys
They're
would
in
have
the
been
system somewhere. They're probably replaying Reggie's or local league and stuff like that. Like that's a lot to them. So well done.
I want to send a massive thank you out to the Mad Hueys boys who were asking where you were as well too, by the way. The Hazard twins. Uncle Mick Fanning was asking where you were too.
Nice. I'll be there next year, mate. That's some things to do.
Mate, we went out on the boat. They took us on a pub crawl on the boats. Pretty much it felt like we went all the way down to Byron, stopped at these pubs on the way back in. This is on the Friday before we'd even got going. A few of the boys didn't even pull up, so they rolled straight into the game on Saturday, and 100% you would have been part of that gang. But the shout out to the Mad Hueys. They sort of help out, sponsored it, and just made for a mad weekend. Got to catch up with the boys over the weekend. Shout out to the RLPA team, Nudo, still going.
How'd he go?
Old boy still got it. I'd like to give it to him, but geez, he's a good toilet.
Oh, mate. He's been doing it for 20 years.
Is he? Would he be 43?
He'd be a year younger than me.
Yeah.
He's a year younger.
Yeah, so Nudo, Tommy, Joey Nalaval, Keegs, apologies if I miss anyone, Donny, Boothie. It was just a good team, good squad. All the players were unreal. We had heaps better talent this year with regards to the halves position. So with Peach and Moiser, they were unreal. Corey Thompson, the 3 guys that we talked about.
Yeah.
Were huge for us.
They just
playing. We had good toilers last year. We had workers, but we just didn't have that.
No,
we didn't have that class.
We didn't have any workers or anything like that. I wasn't going to make a tackle.
Yeah. So
that's good.
It was good to get up there.
So who won?
So the Southside Dogs beat the Salty Pigs in the final.
Bit of a Wes Nagama in the final, was it?
Yeah. So I wrote down a few names too, like just watching that final in particular. So you got Jesse Marshke. I thought he'd got a gig at the Dolphins. I'm not too sure what happened there, but I thought he's definitely NFL quality. Him and his brother Ben have been playing in the lower grades for a while. Braden Musgrove, he killed it again for the Dogs. Yeah. And with Musgrove, I don't know, he's fit as hell, strong as hell. Unless he's on the Uncle Rico, he should be playing first grade really, because he's a bit of a beast. In saying that, a bit of an ugly incident. He with the Salty Pigs right at the end, bit of a dog shot, which sort of soured the final.
What do you mean? Just like King hit?
Yeah, sorta. It was off camera, so I didn't get a proper look at it. Marshy gone under the score, and he tried to take it in for a bonus point, ended up going long. Once they'd all run away, I only seen it, so I haven't seen a replay of it. We just seen it live, but it looked to be a little bit of push and shove and then bang over the top. So and then it started an all in, it stopped. They got sent off, and the 2 players, I don't know why Marshke got sent. He's the one that got hit from behind. But Cole Labert as well, he is his brother Zach is that centre that did his ACL for the
Cowboys.
Mate, he plays for Papua New Guinea. I don't know why he hasn't played more first grade. Every time I've watched him play for the Kummels as well, plays really well. Like he'd be 95, 96 kilos.
He's played a fair bit of first grade, hasn't he?
He hasn't, mate. He played heaps of
injuries.
No, it's his brother. It's his brother Zach.
There's 2 of them.
So there's 2. Yeah, he's the older brother. He's about 29, I think. He's about 95 kilos, mate. 6'1", 6'2", good kicking game, runs well. I don't know what the story is, whether maybe he just, missed out early on in his career and
he probably was nearly in his prime. Maybe the Cowboys were killing it back then. If he was in that system.
True. That's a good point.
We'll just say 6
when he's coming through
7 years
Thurston,
ago,
Morgan,
you're not even looking at anyone else. And they kept that team there for about 5 years, and he would have just kept him in reserve grade.
Yeah.
Next
That's
minute, you're 28, 29.
Yeah.
You know,
feel like you're out of the system.
It
Feel like you've missed your crack.
it's a bit of luck when it comes to that.
Yeah.
You know, you're stuck behind two great halves, and you still got the talent. You don't really want to leave North Queensland pretty much, so you just sit there and you probably play reserve grade and then hopefully get a chance.
Yeah.
That seems like that sort of story.
Yeah. But congrats to the Dogs, Southside Dogs. And yeah, like I said, Antsy, good friend of ours and close to the family. Well, Lukey.
Yeah. Marshke was at the Dragons. Remember he had that Dog of the Week performance last year?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. He played 6 games last year, Jesse. Jesse.
You said Dolphins.
No, he was apparently signed to the Dolphins.
And then something fell through.
Well, that was maybe it was just a rumour last year, so I thought he was at the Dolphins.
So he has no NRL team?
Mate, I'm telling you, he'd be a good pickup. If there were a few teams, and I know he's been in the system for a while, but like Nines is different, but you can just tell.
He can play football, mate.
Yeah, you know when you can see movements, size,
I saw that game last year.
versatility.
He's good.
Yeah.
He signed with the Bears for this season, according to Zero Tackle.
Okay.
And they're at the Roosters Feeder Club?
I'm not sure.
They have been the last
Think
couple
so.
of years,
I think
yeah.
so.
Sometimes they change.
Yeah, Ben's been playing. I think Ben was playing for him last year as well. They killed it. I think a couple of years ago they went to the New South Wales Cup, Queensland Cup grand final together. But he's a good human too. Good fellas, those Marshke boys. I was sort of rooting for the Salty Pigs a little bit because they were good fellas, and their tent was set up next to us. But it's good, so good catching up with everyone. We'll go up again next year.
Yeah.
Definitely be a part of it. Probably won't play next year. I think that's it for me.
After the ribs, mate. How's the drive with the ribs?
Drives are right.
Posture up.
Sleeps a little bit harder.
Is it proper rib cartilage?
Yeah, it's done.
They're the worst.
It's done. It popped. Yeah, it's going to be about 4 or 5. It's going to put me in doubt for my husky try that I'm doing as well. Yeah. So that's
risk and reward, bro.
We went out and had a few beers after, and a few of the boys were telling some stories, and I was just like,
wow.
"Fuck." Yeah.
That sucks.
You sit there and go,
yeah. Fucking Normie, we were having a beer with Normie after, and he was on fire, and I was just like, "Fuck, I just need to get out of here." All right, our winner. We have a winner, and we have an announcement. We are stoked to have on board for 2025. Thanks to, and this is how we're going to pronounce it. It's one word, Mace, but it's Elite. That's the easiest way to put it. Lukey, I will put a link in the bio. I'll send you. We'll put the link in the bio for this episode. We don't officially start with them until round 1. Once we get the plays in. And Jake SC, you are the winner. Cameron Munster and Kieran Foran are our special guests for 2025. They'll come on. They'll talk a little bit of footy, have a bit of a laugh. I'll have specific questions for them, more position-wise, because me and Mace are forwards, back rowers.
Yeah.
That was a real exciting bit about getting these two on, is getting some halves chat as well,
Big time.
some outside backs, and they've done it all. Honestly, these two, and obviously, like I've said for years now, great friends of mine. So
Proper friends.
So there was heaps of DCEs, and understandably so.
They would have.
There was heaps of DCEs.
DCE and Foz.
A couple of ones from left field, which I liked, were Val and Chad, because they're now in town. Zach Lomax, after I'd been pumping up Zach Lomax, I think a lot of people thought, well, maybe we're going to get Lomax.
I don't know how they would have thought about, to getting those two. Foz and Munster.
Yeah.
No way I would have thought that.
There was heaps of Fozes, heaps of Munsters, but not a Foz and Munster together.
Because they're probably
Jake was the only one.
Foz going to do from New Zealand, Melbourne. They would have been thinking Sydney. DCE, for sure.
Yeah. DCE was about 80% of the guesses, which ruled so many people out, but obviously still a really good friend of mine. So welcome on board Elite for 2025. Jake, you win our first. Like I said, I promised it, and then I asked him yesterday and confirmed it. $500 performance and recovery pack. So for Elite, they specialise in joint and muscle pain relief. They built Ultra Tough for you. They're for your family, and they're for the world's best athletes. You've got pain relief salts, recovery, apparel, skincare. You've got everything on there. So Lukey will chuck the website up, and anyone who wants to go have a look, once the season starts, we'll have a question for the boys, and one per month we're going to give away just what Jake's already won here, our first of the year. Performance and recovery pack will be sent out with the value. It's valued up to $500. So
I'm going to get a burner account so I can win.
You're in a lot of pain, mate.
Come on, athlete. I need some
athlete now.
I need some stuff, mate.
I'm going to call the team to athlete on the way home because I need some bath salts. I need some stuff for this because it's going to be a tough carry for the next week.
You need to get down to that elite recovery, man.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I go down about 3 or 4 times a week. Hyperbaric, red lights, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Saunas.
For sure. Also want to give my mate and friend of yours, the great Hayden Knowles. I did the podcast with Knowlesy last week.
Yeah.
He's got a podcast called Getting the Edge podcast with Hayden Knowles. Go and give it a follow, guys. Subscribe and jump on and watch my episode. Me and Mace have talked about this a number of times. Due to the popularity of this podcast without sounding like lemons, we get asked to do a fair few podcasts, and I've declined a lot of them politely over the last couple of years just because we do so much content, and then we've also got other forms of
less is more sometimes.
Yeah, and exactly right. And then because I felt like I told my story wasn't changing too much whenever I did the podcast, but to go on there and have a chat to Knowlesy was someone that's a big part of my journey right at the start.
Yeah, Knowlesy was there back in the
Parramatta
2010s
when I debuted.
Yeah,
and,
I love Knowlesy, mate.
And there's a lot of I guess the way I carried myself is a reflection of those guys early on, mate. So you would have had it at the Bulldogs. You talk highly about the guys you come through with and trainers. Hayden Knowles, Craig Catterick were that for me. And then the senior playing group, we talked a lot about the group that were there. So if you are interested in my journey, it's probably the most in-depth that I've ever got and could actually tell stories with someone. The reason I wanted to do it is because tell stories with someone that's actually lived it with me. So
it's the beauty of podcasts, isn't it, when you really want to sit there and you be comfortable with someone that you respect and that you can really open up because you get offered to go on you're saying a lot of podcasts. I don't even know these little fuckers. I don't know them, and I'm not going to sit there and give you my life story just because you want fucking clickbait. You're going to ask all these questions, which I'm not going to fucking tell you. That's what I get. I fucking hundreds a year. I'm like, no way. Come on the pod. No, I don't say it. I don't even reply. Seriously, but if you're going to get a Mark Burris or someone like that I really respect, and even. Dennis Kemp and everyone. I've done a few of those, and
there are some really good ones
Jimmy
out
Graham.
there.
He's done he just done one with the big ogre.
Oh yes, no, Rennie told me.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious.
Have you seen it? I haven't seen it yet.
I think it comes out this week.
It'll come out this week.
Rennie said it's a must-watch.
Ogre's just fucking. You ask him a question, he's just whatever he's thinking.
Yeah.
If you think I've got no filter, he's way worse.
That's what Rennie said. Yeah. Rennie said it's fucking hilarious.
Because he's very monotone, right? So he'll say something. You got to be listening, and it's fucking be way out of line, right?
Yeah.
You just keep walking, just keep going. Like,
okay.
Did you say
so
that?
he says it calmly.
It's nobody be like, "Yeah, I'll fucking kill you," or something like that.
Yeah.
What? Did you say that? Ogre?
Yeah.
No, it'll be really good because obviously both big props and Rennie reckons he didn't even fucking get a word in.
So
it was Jammer, Ogre, and Rennie?
Yeah.
Oh, mad.
And Ren said, I might as well not been there. he goes, Ogre's podcast etiquette's not at its best, right? He just talks with, you talk over people. But Ren knows that. He just fucking, I said, just let him go, right? And he was telling a story, and he goes, Ren, finish the story like that. And then he finished the story over Ren. Ren's like, what'd you fucking ask me for?
Without sounding slack to Ren, because Ren's done, he's got his podcast and done a few. I'm stoked to hear because I've never heard anything from Ogre. So I was saying this to Ren the other day.
He's a creature.
Yeah,
that's what he is, and he wants to keep it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd assumed he wouldn't be a guy that would do a podcast. I don't know why I thought that, but just because the way you speak about him and his presence and all that, I thought he was like a real undercover guy. So I'm excited to see it.
No, he's really good. And he probably wouldn't, because him and I get along so well. He's one of my best mates. I wouldn't get him on this podcast because then you'd probably lose that sort of, because we're so mystique and because we'll sit there like two little kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just like telling stories about it because I got a billion Ogre stories.
Yeah.
I played over 200 games with this guy.
Yeah.
Years.
That's mad.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right, it's time to get to the replies from our last episode. This one comes from Jay Gibb. Jay Gibb, you have the comment of the week so far, so we'll be putting that into the list with last week's comment of the tournament trade. One of the main things that hasn't been mentioned in relation to these player options that we're talking about last to Barfield Mace
is that they mainly occur in 2027 when the new broadcasting deal comes into effect, and likely the 18th team. Agents would be aware that there would be a big cap increase due to TV rights.
Well, yeah, shit.
Week instead of 8.
I didn't.
Even outside of player options, most of the big name players have contracts ending in 2027. So,
Shit, I didn't think of that.
a strategic move by agents knowing that there is a bigger slice of the pie coming in the form of both cap and.
Fuck yeah, great work. That's 100% spot on. That's exactly why they got these clauses.
And there were a number of replies with regards to Melbourne Storm player options. They've actually got a couple, and this is from Bob and Sweet the best, and I reckon there are a number of people that let us know about it as well. With clauses, nearly every single club in the NRL has them. 3 clubs in the entirety of the comp don't. One of them
And Gus and the Bulldogs. Not all clubs have them equally, though. A lot of the top clubs have clauses, but they're either in the club's favour or in interest of both the player and the club. For example, with Melbourne, their 2 player options are with Farlongo and Jonah Pezzett, the 2 young guns. And their options are around playing time behind Pappy and Hughes, which makes a lot of sense. You want to keep the young players, you want to keep developing. I guess it gives Melbourne the benefit of watching them both develop and progress. And if they're able to beat out the older boys, then so be it. But if not, and Jerome continues his form, Pappy stays healthy, then there's options for the younger players to look elsewhere and seek opportunity.
That's perfect. I never thought of that. I didn't know that the TV deal was coming up in 27. It's just a smart move.
Yeah.
If I'm a player, if I'm a big dog like Luai or anything like that, I'm like, I ain't signing a 5-year deal, especially if this salary cap goes up 2 mil.
To add to that as well, DAZN have just bought Foxtel.
So who's that?
DAZN have bought Foxtel in December.
DZ, it's that
DAZN, you know, the
DAZN.
boxing.
DAZN.
I never know how to pronounce it either.
Is
Danzens.
that how it's
DAZN.
pronounced? Is it DAZN?
DAZN, yeah.
It's DAZN.
D-A-Z-N.
That's how you pronounce it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, $2.2 billion purchase from News Corp. And
Yeah, well. I heard that rumoured. Is that confirmed?
it's confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the press release I'm
That's
reading.
massive.
Here comes
So,
the
I
money.
mean,
Oh,
For a
Here
lot of
comes the
variables,
money.
like boxing in Australia, rugby league's obviously a big part of the Foxtel deal that they've got.
Yep.
So it's going to be an interesting 12 months with all
Yes.
this.
There's going to be some money flying around, isn't there?
great work.
And
Great work.
Boys are going to get paid.
Yeah, exactly what they should be.
Yeah. So that now going back to the Dylan Brown thing, and there was some comments around the Dylan Brown. Now this makes
Perfect
whole heap of
sense.
And
Dylan Brown, mate, he's obviously got plans this year to probably kill it, right? Be the best player that he can be. And if he's the best player that he can be, $1 million plus for that.
It was only
for that
rumoured,
man.
and it was on one of the Fox, and I didn't put it in just because of whatever. But now, just off the back of that, the asking price from a few of the clubs they've announced is like 1.2 for Dill.
Easy.
1.2.
Depends how big this TV deal is.
Yeah.
You know
Because
what I mean?
in comparison,
Depends,
it could be
like,
worth
just
like
Channel
9.
7. Channel 7's going to be in the race for it.
Yeah.
Channel 9, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Danzens just bought it.
DAZN.
DAZN, I mean,
DAZN? Yep.
it is DAZN, yeah.
I used to say DAZN.
Danson.
It's like when you said meme.
What do I say? Meme. And it's meme.
No, it is meme.
Meme.
It's
It
like
is
people
meme.
say it. The
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Meme.
Yeah.
Who says meme?
Some people.
Come on, bro. Really?
Yeah.
I can see why. Mimi.
Meme.
Hey,
Yeah, I reckon it's
did you
gonna
see
be a
that? Did you see
crazy
that?
time.
How's did you see that Mimi?
Look at you, like you did all the Netflix stuff with the NFL on Christmas
yeah,
Day.
true.
Yeah.
So landscape's shifting.
Bro, it's shifting massively. It's awesome.
Should we make a bid for the NRL levels?
Yeah, man. Let's imagine us being the broadcasters.
Need a
We
few
have-
more-
is
need a
that-
few
is that Eddie Hearn?
few
Is
more
that Eddie Hearn?
sponsors.
Nah, he's matching,
No?
but they just have the partnership. So
Okay.
I'm sure there's some connection there.
Yeah,
The
right.
Hearn family and their big dollars.
All right. This one comes from Metro Moldy. The leftovers scope with an exclamation mark. For shame. Talking about the division that we just didn't have a name for. How about we call it the distant division?
Distant division.
The team that put in the kilometres for the comp every year can't wake up in your own bed and play in an away game across town. I like it.
hard.
It is hard for those
Have you?
teams.
What's the furthest you've been? You haven't done that, have you? Like the traveling.
Catalan's to England back and forth.
Yeah, but that was fucking at the end of our careers. But that was fun.
And you only did have like half a dozen games.
Fucking 6 games. I've never
favourite.
done
I've
that.
told
Like
that story
Newcastle.
Yeah.
I've done that, but that was a little bit. That's not too far.
Yeah.
You know, North Queensland was fucking awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's a hard one. If you're just the Warriors would be hard, man.
Yeah, it would. You think that over the years, obviously, getting it down pat. For sure the weather and for both for the Warriors and the Cowboys and travel was a factor.
It's just routine as well.
Routine, sleeping in your own bed.
If you're big on routine with your preparation, which I'm not really, you know what I mean? It is. I'm big on. I was big on prep during the week and like getting your body right, mind right. So it wouldn't matter if I fucking slept on the floor in somewhere. I'm still ready to play.
Yeah.
So I don't never use excuses like, oh, it's not my fucking bed and this and that. Like if you're ready to play, you're fucking ready to play. That's if you're traveling, you're traveling, but you just got to be ready. Coaches need to get you ready, your mindset ready to play football. That's it. But in saying that, if you're the Warriors and you're going through customs all the time, you're going through a lot of shit. You know, it's all the time.
I think it's a valid excuse.
It is, but I'm a little bit, but it's not massive because they're they're professional players. They know what they're signed up for.
Yeah.
You know, but I think North Queensland was like New Zealand compared to like just say Melbourne and any Australian team. It's going through the customs and all that bullshit, checking in and all that kind of stuff, and you know, it'd be hard. And that sucked a little bit. I remember because I think I was 30 when at North Queensland. Just the trip home. Trip there's easy.
Yeah, because you're pumped, you're excited.
Yeah, you're excited, and then it's like, you know,
then
you're
sore on the plane.
fucking sore, and you're hungover and everything on the way back. It's just terrible. Then you get back to North Queensland, it's fucking 40 degrees. It's freezing in Melbourne. You go back home, it's like fucking 28, 20. It's crazy. I don't know how people stay up there for that long.
Yeah.
Fucking like JT come down from Sydney, stayed up there for what, 15 years?
Well, I know it's a shorter distance, but considering Melbourne have travelled a lot, even just flying to Sydney all the time, making the trips to the Queensland trips
down there.
Yeah, it's and one of the things I remember the podcast, going back to the podcast that was it his book, Cameron Smith talking about one thing that he puts down to his longevity is sleep. So despite all the travel and whatever it may be and playing that amount of games, I think he had a really good routine with sleep.
He can shut it down anywhere.
Shut it down. And I think he even had like, you know, without being, I'm certain, nearly certain enough to say it, is that like even back with family life with the kids, his missus always just let him have like really good sleep, which he said was key around it. So,
and some people can shut it down. Some people can't. I can never do that.
Yeah.
I can't just get on a plane and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Where some places just get in there anywhere they are and just go, bang, I'm out.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck, how do you do that? I wish I could do that.
So Metro Māori, the leftovers no longer. The distance division, they're up next. And I made a little tweak. So I said the beaches division had Manly in it. I'm going to put them in the distant division because because they're Manly with Newcastle as a rival.
Yeah, North.
Warriors are a rival from a grand final, and Melbourne. You've got to have them in the same division.
What about Canberra?
And therefore, yes, Canberra's a part of it, the distant division. And then in the beaches division, you have the Roosters, Rabbitohs, St. George and Cronulla, because you need Cronulla and St. George together. They have to be together. And then you've got to have Rabbitohs and Roosters. So I think that makes a lot of sense. The next one, keeping it going, Run It, the podcast, left a comment. Love the division thoughts. What do you think of if the teams go to 18 to 9-team conferences? That way, you play everyone once and your conference twice, making it still 25 games. A couple of split rounds is a 27-round season game, same as now. Playing your conference again stops the randomness of the draw, so you just know every year that you're going to be playing the same teams twice a year, so then you build that rivalry. You get 2 shots at your conference opponents, e.g. the Queensland Derbies, for example. But then the one-off games you want to win because you know you only see them once a year, and then it's either once a year or until finals or the next season. So getting that, getting that advantage over top of them throughout the season. The top 2 from each conference determine your top 4, and the final 4 are wild card positions.
That's bad.
So the best record. So you get the top 4. So there's reward for being the top 2 from either conference. And then it's the best of next. So a combination of both conferences to fill out.
Do you think that the game needs tinkering with the semi-finals and the final?
Probably
I think that's a good idea.
Just because we're in NFL.
No, I know, I get it. But I'm just saying, like, is it working? Like the 1 versus 4, the 2 versus 3 seems to be working.
I think it's working. Like we've seen examples of the 2 best teams in the grand final the last 2 years. Anyway.
Yeah, but I still like little ideas like that.
Yeah, so do I. It just get you thinking.
Just to mix it up a little bit, but it's not broken.
Yeah. And he says when the NRL had 2 more teams go to 20, you could make it the same thing. 4 or 5, and do something similar.
I fucking like, because I like how the NFL works.
Yeah, so do I.
It's fucking great.
Yeah. And without completely copying it, because I love the idea of still making a top 4 and rewarding a top 4. I thought that's the part that I like the most.
It rewards consistency.
Yeah. The next one comes from Ars Peace. Boys, L1 from day one. Refound my respect for Big Willie and loving the Kiwi boy for lighting up the Rugby League podcast world scope. Keep up the good work, fellas. Look, I'm punching 50 years old. Watched league since I had material nappies. Love where the game is despite being a Tigers tragic. My comment is this. One of the better performing teams in the last 4 years against Penrith has been Para with their second phase offload games from Big Junes, RCG, Isaiah Papali'i when he's there, Murata Niokora when he's there. Even Penasini gives a late offload every now and again. They can't handle the chaos. Why don't other teams try to do this? They try to get in the grind, which is exactly where Ivan and the Panthers want to be. It shits me to tears. Not a Storm fan at all, but they try to go toe-to-toe in the grand final GF with one of the biggest chaos merchants in Grant and Munster in their back pocket. They need Stefano to get an offload into their game. The end, Kiwi Mitch.
Yeah, I'm 100% with that. When we used to play Melbourne all the time, because we had like guys like myself and Ogre, Sonny, Bill, Roy, Pricey, guys that could really love the contact.
Yep.
And you'd be able to get offloads. You got to be able to play football against Melbourne. You can't play into their game.
Yep.
Where Melbourne, so go back to that grand final, Melbourne played into Penrith's game. They're the kings at that now. Melbourne used to be the kings at it. Now Penrith are. But I was just like, every time we'd play them, you'd play a lot of football, second phase football, and then you'd spread it, have a crack at them really early, make their middles work, a little bit of an offload, try and get back around. You've got to scatter them and then rely on individual brilliance.
But you would agree with this. The key for you guys is you're trying to run through them first.
Yeah, you always
and then the second phase comes after
Yes.
that.
You don't try and offload and preempt an offload. You can't. You got to run as hard as you can and then an offload will come.
Yep.
You can't just sit around. And that's what Parramatta did, right?
Yep.
With Junior and Reg and Cartwright. Run first mentality and then the offload will come.
A couple of things to push back on. I like the idea of it. And I like what he's thinking. With regards to Parramatta, success in the last 3-4 years for sure. Granted, regular season, haven't been able to do it in the finals when it matters though, because it's a different. That's my only pushback on that. Even though it's worked at times, and I wouldn't even say it's offloads with Parramatta. They proper chance their arm. They
play football.
They kick early. They do some stuff that they just. They're a team that try stuff against them in Penrith, like even shifting the ball early, high risk plays.
Not very analytical. If the guys do the stats, like just say 20 years ago when we were playing Melbourne, like they're all pretty safe offloads and everything like that, and we'd play football, but like the analytics weren't going against you if you can't defend your line.
Yeah.
And Parramatta couldn't defend their line for more than 2 sets against Melbourne. You know what I mean?
Against
Penrith, they can't. And Penrith are relentless.
For some reason, I don't know if it's the mindset and just like communicating it beforehand. Maybe, hey boys, we're going to have a crack at them, and then so be it. They've done really well.
Parramatta, they just have to play football.
Yeah.
But there's just some things where you got to pull back a little bit. Just a little bit in today's game.
Do you remember when Manly
it's all about play. Yeah, it's all about like field position, everything, and cage kicks and blah blah blah, all this sort of stuff where it goes a long way into it. Because Penrith jam you down there in your end, fucking good luck getting out.
Yeah,
good luck getting out. You see the energy what they have when you get jammed in a corner. Dylan Edwards is catching on the 50, you run into the 40, another attacking set.
Just relentless.
It's relentless. You can't cop that pressure, and they know they're just squeezing you till you break.
Yeah,
they broke Melbourne.
Do you remember when Manly tried to do it 2 years ago? When they kicked on the first, they shifted coming out of they actually got to a lead. I think they might even be winning just before half time, or Penrith ended up tying it at half time, and then they played conservative after that because they realised they were in front, and then they sort of shit themselves. Yeah. They didn't follow through with it.
What's happening?
But then they got super willy-nilly. Like, remember Ruben Garrick did the old school kick on the first after they'd got the ball back or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, way too expansive.
Penrith is so confident and shit like that. They're like, come on, we're going to get you.
When you're that team though, Mason, you have been that team too where people are hunting you, and I've, sort of a version of that at Manly. There's nothing better than when a team's, a team's just like trying to
panic stations,
trying to throw everything at you and go like, these guys are panicking. Eventually they're going to crumble.
How do you beat Penrith, but?
Well, and now the Melbourne example, and like you said, Melbourne, they were the OGs of that. So it's not like Melbourne changed their style to match Penrith in this grand final like that. Even though they do have playmakers, at the end of the day, they have good structure and they complete high, and they're very similar teams. That was, again, pushing back a little bit on that part of it.
A couple of plays in that grand final could have changed the whole momentum swing in that game.
They just couldn't. They were
if
trying.
That kid scores that try, then it's like 12-10 or
Leo's try is awarded.
That would have been a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Momentum and everything like that. But like just saying, like, what would be your game plan? If you were a coach, what would be your game plan against Penrith? Just say, I'm talking this year as well. You've lost Fish. You got a young kid, probably Lindsay Smith up front. You've got Isaiah Papali'i. You got Blaze Talangi. You still got, Liam Martin, Yowie, all those great players in Edwards. Like, I'm not really fearing Penrith as much as I did 2 or 3 years ago. When I thought they were like really, I know they're still going to be top 4 prelim. I think maybe a grand final, I'm tipping. But there's just not they just look a little bit more beatable.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
No, but
just a little bit.
Does it feel like we've been saying that every year?
No, because they haven't lost a guy like a Luai.
Yeah.
And a Fisher Harris.
Okay.
The Fish is an integral part of that spirit that they have out there.
Yeah, I agree.
And same as Luai. They haven't lost those guys. Now they have. It'll be very interesting to see who the leader is. I mean, in that forward pack.
Yeah, going back to the...
I know Yowie is anyway, but Fish is that spiritual leader.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying there. Going back to watching that documentary, and it was like I said, it was so good, and it was from the year before, and seeing the energy that Jerome brings, even when he was like, at this point, this is the year that he did his shoulder, right? So this is the year before. And you've got guys that speak really well within the group and are concise with what they're trying to,
He's a smart human.
Trying to get through to the team. Like I said, Isaiah Yeo, he's the link man. Yeah. He's a reflection of Ivan for the group. So he's, but then every now and again you still you need guys in the locker room like those energy guys, like the Stephen Crichtons, like the Jerome Lies. You do. Like even Taruva. Taruva's always carrying that boombox and sprinting out of the tunnel for the captain's run. It's going to be even more important for Bizza now. Yeah. But Bizza needs, all his mates are gone.
Exactly.
Like his entire crew's gone. So he's going to bring these, the McLean brothers, Isaac
They're going to have to buy in. They'll buy in.
Alamotti looks like he really enjoyed himself
Alamotti
there
loves
last
it there.
year.
He's about it.
He'll feel so much more comfortable going in this season than he did last year.
He'll feel that he belongs there.
Because his grand final was unreal.
Because his grand final was outstanding. He had a great year. And it was great for that guy, that kid, because at the Bulldogs, he was always that up-and-coming superstar, right? He was at that, he was on that Suwili sort of level, right?
Yeah.
And he got everything given to him at the Dogs, right? That wasn't really earned. And I think he sort of knew that, right? Then Ciro changed a lot of his game, and he sort of got exposed a little bit, out in the field. He played some really good games, and defensively he slipped up. And I think they offered him a contract, right? And Penrith offered him nowhere near it. He just wanted to go and just get out of his comfort zone.
Yep.
So you've got to pay credit to that.
Respect, yeah.
Go over there knowing that you're not going to be the starter for the first 1 or 2 games and earn everything.
He did. He'd earn it, didn't he?
And he earned everything. And he ended up being their left centre. He's going to start. And he played outstanding all year. And I was like, I've got to credit that because he could have stayed at the Bulldogs. And just and obviously
got good money.
On good money.
Yep.
Went there for way less and backed himself.
Yep.
And because the talent on that kid is special.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised what I saw.
Yeah.
Was not surprised what I saw during the year because I watched him at training and that. But the kid's 18, 19, do you know what I mean? When he debuted, he was a baby.
Yeah.
So now he's 20? He's only 20. He's 21 years old.
He'd be 20 or 21 for sure. Yeah.
So the future's up for him, but I got to credit Alamotti for that.
So there you go, Kiwi Mitch. Those are reasons, mate, why teams are reluctant to go. Eventually, even though it's boring, in order to beat in order to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And sometimes teams chance their arm, and sometimes, you have different game plans to unsettle them. But at the end of the day, Penrith go harder for longer.
And I think
that's where eventually they break you down.
I think Penrith are fitter than most.
So in order to do that, you've got to go harder for longer.
Most clubs.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Melbourne get run around like that as well in that grand final. In the first 25 minutes, I saw a lot of guys that were fucking exhausted.
Yeah, both sides. It was a good battle.
Penrith just got better.
Yeah.
And fitter. In the
clutch moments.
Yeah. And I was just like, God, wow. It's impressive, man.
Very impressive.
Play a high octane sort of level of game, man.
Yeah. And the most impressive part for me with what Penrith have been able to do is just stay focused. Like to be able to stay focused and have that same energy, still win. Like we see it all the time in all different sports where teams, players, individuals, maybe a couple in the group get complacent.
None of them get complacent. It's nearly the perfect team. That's what I'm thinking. They're a little bit more beatable now, but just say like 2 years ago when they played Para, I'm like, fuck, good luck, Para. They come out there flexed up and just went, you're done.
They were
Para
still hungry
couldn't roll
then.
with them.
Yeah.
Para couldn't roll with them. I'm like, when Leota and Fish went at him and they were just relentless. I watched the first 20 minutes of that game. Game over. It was brutal, man.
You know what? Going back to the grand final
Watch that fucking 20 minutes of that game.
You'll love this, Mace. Going back,
me fucking chills
now you're talking about it, I 100% agree because I reckon there was nervous energy around losing to Melbourne, just getting the job done against South without Latrell. It was a statement grand final, Para, and it almost sent shockwaves across the league.
Poor Para. I'm like, because maybe, they didn't get beat by Melbourne, and then, as you just said, there was no Latrell in the second grand final. Fuck, you're going to get it now, Parramatta.
But I honestly don't think...
That was the biggest flex I've seen, and I haven't fucking looked back since.
Exactly, and I don't think it matters who the opponent was in that grand final. They were that confident in who they were by that point, and they wanted a statement, and it didn't matter who they played. They were going to do that to anyone.
And then you do that to Brisbane, and the resolve and the mindset is just so steeled at the moment, right? It's just, you can't break him.
Yeah.
Especially after that, I think after the Brisbane performance, like, you can't get him.
Yeah.
And then like a couple of games, I think last year when they were really behind in some games, I'm like, how did they win that?
The Dolphins game?
The Dolphins game was a couple, I think. I don't know if I think they might have got Para one time. You thought they were going to win. You're like, what?
Yeah, Para.
They got Para, remember?
Yeah.
Para had him, and I'm just like, I nearly turned it off. I'm like, fuck, Penrith's going to win this.
Yeah.
I was watching it going, I could see momentum switches, and I'm like, they think they can win this, Penrith. They honestly do, and I'm just thinking, they're going to win this, and Para's just going to fucking capitulate.
Do you know the reason I remember that one so well was because I missed it because I was doing radio.
Because of Lukey.
And Lukey. But watching it back at with 8 minutes to go and they're down by 14.
Yeah,
like, how the fuck
possible.
do they win?
11.
I was like, how the fuck do they win this?
Impossible.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So every year they've just built this fucking resolve and mental resilience and
they've broken teams, franchises, players.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's just like now you go into games going, we've got to be up by 40 with 10 to go. Yeah. Otherwise, they might get us. Yeah. Cleary could just turn the Jets on and everyone's fucked.
Yeah. All right. Wow. That was the Western Sydney division last week anyway. Let me train. Queensland Division preview. Why Mace is going, we'll just keep this going too. Last week, we'll just give a bit of a shout out to the odds. I forgot to do the odds.
Okay, yeah.
So I've got them for this week as well. So what I'm going to do this year a little bit different is I've got the odds, and Tab have this thing called NRL Futures Multi-Builder. I didn't have anything that I liked out of those 4 teams last week, so I'm not going to have them available. But for the Panthers to make the top 4, they're $1.70. Penrith to make the top 8 are $1.16. To win the minor premiership, $4.50. Grand final, $4.50. Nothing in that was appealing to me from the Panthers. For the Bulldogs, $3 to make the top 4, $1.65 to make the top 8. To win the minor premiership, $12. And grand final winner, what do you reckon, Lukey?
For the Bulldogs?
Bulldogs.
12s?
$13. Yeah. It's going to be similar. I should ask that before I say the minor premiership. Your Eels, $5.
Okay.
For them to make the top 8. We're just going through the odds from last week that I forgot to read out last week for Tab. Parramatta, top 8.
It must be less. 350.
Fuck.
225.
$20.
Parramatta. What? You're
Make the top 8.
No, because you don't get the odds as well. So to win the minor premiership, they're $23, and to win the grand final, $34. For the Parramatta. For Tigers, West Tigers are $9 to make the top 4, $3.25 to make the top 8. To win the minor premiership and the grand final, $41. So I was just telling Lukey before, Mace, while you're away,
Get fucked.
there is Tab have got an NRL Futures multi-builder where you can put a combination of top 4, winner, potentially minor premiership, all that together. And there was nothing in those 4 teams that I like, but I've got 2 from the Queensland division that I'm going to be part of my NRL multi-builder, and I'll explain them as we go through for the teams. And I will let you know that the first one that will be a part of my builder is the Brisbane Broncos to make the top 4 at $2.25. Brisbane are paying $1.38 to get back into the 8, and to make the minor premiership to win the minor premiership, $8.50. Grand final winner, $8. But the one that's most appealing to me out of that, and that's going to be part of my multi-builder, is Bronx for top 4. This one comes from Heath Lewis. Hey guys, love the podcast. My question is, what are your thoughts on the chat around Madge potentially moving Paddy Carrigan to prop and Kobe Hetherington to lock? How would it change the middle rotation, if at all? Also, where would then you rate Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan as a front row combination? I'm a Broncos fan, and I'm a fan of Paddy moving to prop, but keen to hear your boys' opinions. Thanks for all the content.
I think Paddy Carrigan plays like with the lock these days. It's like your third prop anyway. You know, and he defends it. He's still going to defend in the middle.
Yep.
He's still going to get the ball on whatever tackle he wants. Hetherington can pretty much do what he does. They're probably going to stick Hetherington in there because he's a gun defender, right, at the start of games.
Yep.
He ain't going to touch the ball that much. He'll probably be on play 2s, and he'll probably be taking play 1 or 2 anyway. Then Payne Haas, then Carrigan. They're not going to really fuck it up. You just want to start that young kid Hetherington because he's just a gun defender.
Yep.
You know, that's all.
I think that's a huge part of it, right?
It is.
Madge defensively minded.
He's defensively orientated, mate. And so I don't think it's going to change much because you still want Carrigan on that third or fourth sort of play, bit of ball playing, off a quick play the ball. He either runs, he has shape with him, has back rolls, all that kind of stuff. It's not going to. Hetherington's not going to be doing that. Hetherington's still going to be in the middle, just playing either play 2 or play 3, just doing all the hard shit because he's fucking hard. He's a tough dude. I don't think it's going to change the way that their dynamics or anything, the way they play.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree with you on this one. I think sometimes it's more of. I think Madge is a deep thinker as well, and sometimes you have coaches that a number represents something as well, like just something a little bit different. But I've always been of the opinion where, like for me, whether you play 8, 10 or 13, I'm with you. It's basically the same thing. You're still going to play a version of what you play through the middle. And with 7 and 6, like it doesn't matter too much to me because it's left and right edge anyway. But I guess when you do give someone the 7, it's that thing. It's almost sending a message to the team that this guy's going to control a little bit more than the 6. And if Madge does indeed make this switch, it's almost like, all right, Paddy, you're still the link guy through the middle, but an extra 5% is just roll your sleeves up, go forward.
And he's got that.
Yeah.
Plays like whatever for Origin and whatever level, like Test football. It doesn't matter. Front row and lock's pretty much the same.
He pretty much did that for Australia and Queensland.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not really going to change his game up that much. He's still going to be that guy. Like, you want him in the middle. He's still going to defend in the middle. That's the thing. That's where you want him. When they put him on an edge this year and they lost that punch and they lost, like, his defensive prowess in the middle because he can hit and he goes after it, you sort of miss that because you're on an edge. Because I can relate to that because I'm like, sometimes if I defend it on an edge, you can't turn your shoulders in, especially in this day and age. You can't come flying out like Adrian Moore used to do from fucking foreman, just clean props up or whatever. You've got to stay in your lane, right? And he had to stay on that left edge or right edge and just be there. And they're never going to run straight at him. So he's checking on blocks. He's getting check and release and out the back where you want to be in the middle. You want him in the middle with Payne Haas, with Hetherington, with the
Corey Jensen had a good year last year.
Corey Jensen. So they'll be going for. I mean, like,
do you reckon it's more of an indication that Madge likes Kobe Hetherington a little bit more than Corey Jensen?
I think he defends better.
Yeah.
Well, he was on the outer until Madge signed.
Who Hetherington was? Yeah, he was. He was actually. Yeah, there was chat around him being floated around. That's a good shout, Lukey.
I played with his dad, Dalton. What a legend.
Yeah.
Jason Hetherington.
Yeah.
One of the greats. I would have thought he would have come down the Dogs or something. There was rumours about that.
There was. Yeah, I remember the rumours around him being shopped to different teams.
He'd suit the way that we play, but yeah, I think he's there simply because he's just a fucking outstanding defender.
Remember when
he just hasn't had a massive opportunity to start. He hasn't played like ridiculous minutes. It's always been because you've had Payne Haas there, and you had Carrigan, you had Jersey Flegler there, you've had a few other players that play big minutes.
Even like Xavier Willison's progressing.
Willison's progressing. Like so, I would expect Willison to be like, hey. I want that starting spot. This is his third year in the game now.
Yeah, and Madge re-signed him as well.
He's got
that
a
deal
lot
done.
of
Everyone
upside.
would have been in for Willison.
He is.
I'm surprised, like they were able to retain him because if I was a club, I would have taken a chance on Willison.
They would have, but I think he just loves the Broncos and he wants to stay
Madge
there with Payne and Madge and them down there. And it's unfinished business for Brisbane.
Yeah.
They still think that they should have. Obviously, they should have won that grand final a couple of years ago. Still got a similar side. No,
well, the big question mark is,
Herbie,
and Reynolds has been announced he's the captain as well. But the huge question mark is the availability of Reynolds for how long at the start of the year and how they deal. In saying that, just say the backups that they've got, right? So just say, for example, and I've got my predicted team here when everyone's fit, but you're still going to have Ben Hunt playing 7 with potentially Jock Madden at 6, who's played a fair bit. They've got that young Kobe Black kid that played a little bit last year. And then you've got options at hooker, Smoothie, Blake Moser.
It's about getting the right mix, isn't it? Like Ricky had a really down year last year.
Yeah.
Compared to what he had the year before.
Picker as well. We expected huge things from him.
And I think it was they
were defending heaps.
The aftermath of the grand final.
Yeah.
Mate. It's not... They need a fresh start, so I think they'll be good. They think they should be top 4 easy, but easier said than done. Because I'm worried about the halves, right?
Yeah.
When Ezra Mann comes back,
how long that takes to get
Ben
going.
Hunt will start the 7, right?
He will.
Well, I'm not that worried then because he can control that team for as long as he wants. If he's 7, the 6 just has to make his tackles, get to his kicks, and that's about it.
How long do you think?
Why is Reynolds out?
Neck. Something to do with his neck and shoulder.
Something cleaned up in his neck.
Got something cleaned up, like a little bit of surgery or whatever. All right, 2025 gains are Benny Hunt and Hayes Perham comes up from the Bulldogs. He's a nice little rotation guy for him because they lost Tristan Saylor, who was basically that role.
Where's Tristan gone?
St. Helens?
Yeah, he'll carve over there.
Yeah. Corey Oates and Jordan Pereira both retired. My predicted best available, if everyone's available, team: Reece Walsh at fullback, Jesse Arthurs and Selwyn Cobbo on the wings. Katoni, only because this is I'd probably have Selwyn at centres, but because of the reports, I think Selwyn's going to be on the wing. So Katoni Staggs and Dean Mariner. I like Dean Mariner. I think he's going to, if they go well, there's going to be a lot more chat about Dean Mariner throughout the year. Ezra Mam, Adam Reynolds, Payne Haas, Ben Hunt at hooker, Corey Jensen. That could quite easily be our man, we're just talking about Hetherington there with Paddy playing up front. Brendan Piacuta, Jordan Ricky, Patrick Carrigan, a couple of swing guys, and Blake Moser has the opportunity to, I think, at the start of the year, if Hunty does play 7, why Reynolds is out, Moser does everything he can to put the pressure on.
Yeah.
Oh, and Billy Walters as well. Like, he's sort of the forgotten guy. He's thereabouts as well. There's a good chance Billy Walters and Blake Moser are fighting for that 9 jersey. And Xavier Willison, like you said, I got him highlighted as well, mates, because he showed some moments last year that he's capable of being
unstoppable sometimes. When he just needs a really good 9.
If they're travelling.
Yeah, but
if they're playing well on the front
foot, he needs a 9
foot
to hit him. It's hard when, like, just say with Billy Walters, he's a makeshift 9. He's not a natural 9, right? If you get who's a natural 9 for him? Who's there?
The Moser kid.
Moser, he knows, like, if Willison's near that line, he got Payne Haas on that double shape, one of them's scoring.
Yeah.
You isolate the 9 or the fullback, and that's what they really need to do with Brisbane like that. They really need to capitalise when they get down there. You're not always going to score around them. It's hard to score, like, on an edge all the time or something like that, but, like, there's a lot of joy around the middle, especially when you see fullbacks at that ghosting A, especially about like 5 meters out. He needs to be there to try and, it's an optical illusion, right? Because all he's doing is being there. And then as soon as the ball passes, he's fucking gone. But if you look long and then just like play short to Willison or Payne Haas, they're running straight through blokes. They're too big. They'll fall over the line.
If you have, in the perfect world, if they get Ezra Mann back and Adam Reynolds and they move Ben Hunt, when he does play long-term 9, he's one of the craftiest 9s out there. He would have been, like he's already a Hall of Famer halfback. He's done everything, Queensland, Australia. But I reckon he's even a better 9 if he was played there full time. He just hated playing 9. But in this team, to win a competition and having Willison, Payne Haas, Carrigan running off you, I reckon he'll kill 3 teams through the middle.
I think they can win. I think they can possibly win the comp.
Yeah.
If they get everything together with Madge up there, if they buy in, Reece Walsh looks fit as hell. You know, that's the knock on him lately. Like his fitness levels aren't as up there with the Billy Slaters and the Teddys and all those sort of things.
See, Matty Bowen said something about that. Like in order to take his game to the next level, it's the conditioning.
He needs to be like, you know, there's some times where you see him just on his haunches.
Well, you know what it is though, and this is what I'm excited. I've got a question for you in the key storyline, and this is with regards to Madge as well. Like, can Madge have an immediate impact and get results year 1? And also, does Madge have an expiry date? And there's 2 teams that I had this question for with, you know, I think the Broncos are their own worst enemy. The reason, you know, Willison at times and Ricky and Walshy and, you know, Selwyn and these players, they looked fatigued is because they turned the ball over so much. They were killing themselves. And a big part of that is Walshy pulling it back just a touch. But they made some really bad errors in games and then just completely lost momentum, and then they completely lost faith in the way the game was going, and then it almost looked like they just fucking, in a way, gave up a little bit in some games.
They just weren't setting the platform through the middle, where they've got guys like Payne Haas, best prop in the world, Carrigan, but then Carrigan was on an edge, so they really missed him for a little bit. Jensen was in there. They lost Flegler was a big loss. Yeah, they really had to adjust.
Even Farnworth, because he did a lot of tough carries.
They really had to adjust, and they just didn't. You know, Reece Walsh was overplaying his hand a lot. He was going down short sides trying to kick it. You know what I mean? Like 20 metres out, like just it was getting deflected. The other team would jump on the ball. That's about building pressure. Yeah. Like Brisbane need a lot of pressure. They just weren't building any pressure.
Madge will improve them in that area?
Will, fucking oath they will. Yeah. They start building pressure and they're relentless, Brisbane, and clinical when they want to be. They'll blow teams off the field. They just need to be patient.
Yeah. If they can stay in that for the first 6, they'll blow anyone away in the last 20. Yeah, like, they've got too much talent.
But it is a fitness level on some of them. I can see, like, even like Selwyn looks a little bit, you know, like you need to come into round 1 looking like a fucking god. You know what I mean? Like Reece Walsh looks like that now.
He's looking good? I haven't seen any pictures of him yet.
He looks fucking amazing. So is Selwyn, all these guys, Katoni, they all look fit because Madge is big on that, man. He'll fucking run you into the ground. So I think he can get instant results.
Yeah,
I think he's on a bit of a roll now, and they got belief in him because of what he did in Origin.
What about the chat around Madge having an expiration day? I think this is a little bit because I guess this comes from a lot of
they all do. They all do. Yeah. But like, and he's not a Queenslander, and you know, if they don't make the 8 this year, there's fucking problems.
No, what I mean by the expert, and I think what people refer to with Madge, and I've heard this before, and I think this for sure goes back to South Sydney.
I know where you're going.
Where he's so intense, he's going to bring a level of
intensity every single day.
Yeah.
But that's what it's like now.
Level of accountability is what I was looking for as well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, younger players now that are keen thrive on that. The Rabbitohs team, 100% is the perfect example. They had so much talent similar to this Broncos team. Yeah. But then it did become
just a couple of years
for some of the older boys, they got, you know, they started to fatigue. They started to get, it was so intense for so long that it wore them down.
You know the beautiful thing about
in saying that, but there's only one example of that because Tigers, it didn't matter because Tigers, they didn't have the results, so he was gone anyway.
And I think the South thing, like at the start, it was great.
Yeah.
But then the boys started getting old.
Getting older.
They started getting old.
But he's got to go. This team's young.
That's what I mean. So I don't think he's going to fucking ease up.
Yeah.
That's my point. So, like, you know, guys like Sammy and GI and a few of those guys.
Nick Crocker.
Croc, they're like 30.
Yeah.
You know, like they were pushing that sort of.
Johnny Sutton was getting a little bit older.
It was, you were up there and they were like, fuck, there was no leeway. You're still doing every session. So we're under a Wayne Bennett. Like if you're like when I was up there at Newcastle, 32, 33, 34, like
Captain's
like
run.
Mondays and Tuesdays, you're just doing a bit of recovery and everything like that. While the young fellas are like out in the field. Like, you do most things, but like we wanted to do it. He goes, no, get in the pool.
Yeah.
Because we need you for the game.
Yeah.
Like we already know you.
There's a fine balance with that.
Yeah,
stuff
like me,
too, right?
Jeremy Smith, myself, Bo Scott, Bedsy, Kirk Gidds. You earn that.
Yeah.
We're all over 200 games and showing tests and all that kind of stuff in New South Wales. It's like you get to that level where you earned that. And there's a couple of guys here in South that earned that. G.I., Sammy, like Mick, Benny Teo, all these sort of Sutto, like Lottie. So they had some old dudes there, man. Lottie was 34.
Yeah, looking at this roster, probably only Adam.
And so
Reynolds
there's
and
no
Ben
leeway
Hunt.
with these guys. The oldest guy is like fucking 26.
Yeah. So he's going to run him. Like,
and deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think they know like what he's like.
Yeah.
I think he'll learn from his West Tigers little stint there.
Yeah.
But they were young kids.
do you think you can even learn from that South stint, realising that that's the way people viewed
I
him?
went too
Players-
hard.
yeah.
I went too hard on these guys. And there's a fine balance. That's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago. I was
But it's common knowledge around the league, eh?
Oh, mate,
like
it's
we know
fucking
about
crazy.
it because
I
players have talked
spoke
about
to
it.
these guys. They're
Yeah.
like, bro, like there was no leeway, no days off, no nothing. Like you're out there, you are busted. Sam Burgess has got a fucking broken sternum or whatever. He's out there doing contact.
Yeah.
Like it's just, but it builds that resolve and that resilience and that really tough mind where that's what the Broncos need.
Yeah.
Just to be real steeled like that. And if he can install that in this year and then into next year and whatever, they'll be very, very successful. But Madge, I think, when he went from dealing with grown-ass men at South to a basket case at the Tigers with a bunch of little kids that weren't used to fucking getting hammered like that, fucking verbally, physically, mentally, spiritually. You know what I mean? They're like, some kids don't react to that.
Yeah.
You can do that to Sam Burgess. You can do that to grown-ass men that have
Greg
been around the
Inglis,
game.
even Greg
Yeah,
Inglis.
they won't break.
Yeah.
They won't break. But like,
Depends what system they've come from too.
Yeah, but even these kids here, like, I don't know what they're built like. I'm pretty sure they've got a pretty good, strong-minded team up there. But you just don't know.
Yeah, I think I like it.
I like it. I think it'll take Walsh.
Payne's going to Payne in particular. Payne, he's going to really enjoy that sort of coaching. I think Paddy's going to froth it.
I think they all do.
Yeah.
There's going to be guys. I mean, like Reynolds knows what's going on. Walsh will
Reynolds.
really enjoy it. Selwyn probably will hate it, but he's going to play. It'll pay dividends. Same as Katoni. Like
Katoni will froth it.
Yeah, he'll love it. That's what I'm saying.
He's
but
about
like, I'm just saying now, it's going to suck. He'll pay dividends when it's round 10 when he's fit as hell and he's playing Origin.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. So, and even like the Dean Mariners and all that, they probably never trained as hard as this. Jesse Arthurs,
Yeah, 'cause it's so
Reece
young,
Walsh,
been
they've
in
never trained.
systems.
They've
Yeah.
never trained. They've never trained as hard as this.
So who did Walshy have? Who did Walshy have at the Warriors? Brown? Nathan Brown? Was he his coach?
Yep.
Yeah, Nathan Brown,
Yeah,
and
it
he got
was before
sacked.
Webby. It was before Webby.
He got sacked, and then Stacey took over at the back end. Potentially Nathan Brown.
Yeah, not good.
All right. Moving on to the Titans.
Smoky.
Gold Coast to make the top 4 are $9 with the tab. To make the top 8, $3, and they're a part of my multi-builder.
$3.
$3 to make the top 8. I'm on the Titans this year. And not just
I
because
don't
of our
mind
man
it.
Fozzie.
I don't mind it.
Not just
I
because-
like the forward pack, bro.
Yeah, I like it. I reckon
They can get their shit together.
I reckon Regan Campbell-Gillard's a good... Look, the burning question, which we'll get to in a little bit because I want to ask you on this, to win the minor premiership 51s and grand final winner, probably don't think they're capable of that, either of those, but top 8 at 3s with my Broncos top 4, they are the 2 builders from this week that are part of my multi-builder. And I've still got a couple more that I'm going to be putting in there. But this one comes from Ben Capiron.
Caperon.
Scope and OG, L1 from day one. But first time commenting. Thanks for making my commute to work just a little bit easier. My comment is around the Titans fullback position. I'm a Titans fan, and every pre-season it seems like the noise out of the club is about how we need to fix our defence. Yet when it comes to the fullback position, which is arguably the most important position for defence, We seem to throw it out the window. I love JC and Keanu Kinney, but Brimo is clearly the best in our team when it comes to defence. He is clearly the best at communicating and is a much better one-on-one defender, as was evident in the game he has played there, in the games he's played there over the last 2 years. He's a prime example of a fullback who can stop as many tries as he can score. I've been saying it for 3 years, but I feel like that giving AJ the fullback position will be the first real sign that the Titans are taking defence seriously.
Yeah.
Keanu
Kinney, yeah.
He's your fullback. Yeah.
Brimo is your centre if he's so good at one-on-one defence, but you got to train, you got to have the whole preseason when Brimo's the centre.
Yeah.
You know, last year they would have been taking reps at fullback and like centre and all this. We didn't know where Kinney was, and you know he's in. And
JC was having reps at fullback.
I think Campbell's a 6.
Yep, same.
I think he really showed at the end of last year he can defend. And I think Brimo, if he gets the chance to play in the centres and he does a whole preseason there, he'll be a gun defender because he is a good defender. But he just needs reps and reps and reps and reps and reps.
It's a good point from Ben with regards to the communication, though, because when I've watched games,
I love Brimo.
Brimo's. I agree that Brimo's the best defender out of all them. But the problem with Brimo, and we said it last week, is availability. He's been just as unavailable as Tommy Turbo, it feels like, in the last couple of years.
A lot.
Missed a lot of footy, therefore missed a lot of consistency, and he's given a guy's opportunity. He gave JC a crack. JC didn't completely take it. It was up for grabs last year. JC, Brimo, and Keanu Kinney, in my opinion, he did enough at the back end of last year.
And in the test series.
And in the test series in particular, to show that he is...
He's the dude. He is. You got to
will get first crack.
Yeah, because there's nowhere else to play that kid.
Yeah,
right. And you like Campbell. He can play 6, and I think he's going to be really comfortable because he's going to be. He'll be doing reps and reps and reps every single day at 6. He's not playing fullback. He's not doing anything. Brimo's probably going to play left centre. He's going to stay there every single training session. So he's going to get better and better and better, working on combinations and stuff like that. And that's all you can do. I just don't think they're going to fuck around with that. I think because they've been mucking around with it for a couple of years. They haven't got it right.
Give people. We'll see if we agree on this, and we'll go back and forth on this. We'll try to give people an insight into how it works. So just say, for example, throughout the week, probably now that we're after Christmas, but leading into Christmas, it might be 80% preparation for the season in terms of like wrestle, conditioning, just trying to get you as fit and strong as possible. And you might do 20% ball work.
No, it's way more now. You're doing field sessions about probably two a week, 2 or 3 a week.
Oh yeah, and really? As in like full team stuff?
At the highest level.
Okay.
So left on rights, and it's just non-stop, and it's at 100%. It's at 100%.
What would you say the split would be about now, you reckon?
Oh, it's like 60-40.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot.
Leading into Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're ball straight away pretty much after when you get back from pre-season.
Okay.
So they do these left on rights, rights on lefts, middles have got to be working. Like it's fucking flat out. So that's why when I'm talking about reps, you're going to get the left on right going at each other. So you'll have probably like 4 middles. They'll probably play block shape, this, and they'll play different scenarios all the time.
Setting up for the shape, yep.
But they'll do that at like a fucking 100%.
Yeah.
Not 100% contacts, probably like they say amber. It's like 60, 70%. But like you run it straight into guys. Middles are going at 100.
Yeah. Because you got to control through.
You've got to control
even if
the ruck,
just,
and then they'll do 6 shots at you.
Okay, yeah.
And then you flip over, and then so there's 3 different teams.
Yeah.
And then they'll just keep rotating.
There we go. Now that's what I'm getting to now.
So with the teams, during that time, leading into wherever it may be, all the way into round 1, up until sort of the first trial, you have an indication of what the team's going to be. So would you say that probably Keanu Kinney, now he was
playing fullback.
Done. Wonder how much he would have gone in before. I haven't seen or heard a lot about him getting back early. Spent his first team. But normally the way it works is the fullback at a key position in 7 and 6, you want them having 80% of the snaps.
He'd be doing it. Yeah, he'll be doing a lot. So a fullback, just like Connor Tracy, he's doing a lot on both sides. Yeah. You know, and they might have another fullback, but usually when it's the 2 sides, the starting left, the starting right, he's flipping. And that's what Kinney would be doing. Like he'd be doing on the left side, the right side.
Attack orientated, then he's in attack both sides.
Yeah.
If the focus is defence for the session, then he's in defence for both sides.
So you go up every 10 metres, like there's a ball every 20 metres all the way up. And then when you get on the line, it's like proper defense. It's like red line defense. It's online defense. So defense would be like up on you. Yeah, it's fucking intense. You're sitting there and it's like it ain't like, it's not like rolling through like at 50. You're doing it at 100%, and that's what the game is. And then they'll do little things like these 7-minute grinds. So this is when they'll do 13 on 13, and they'll just like they'll go for 7 minutes straight. And it's no rest, because that's pretty much what like, a game, like you're trying to replicate the game. Yeah, three or four sets, non-stop, non-stop ball in play, defense. Just, everyone's just fucked, you know what I mean? But you do, so if you break those things down, right, just say if you're a middle and you got like, let's just do like 4 7-minute sets in your head, like you have 28 minutes, isn't it? Yeah. 28 minutes, and you pretty much, that's your stint. Yeah. 4 or 5. If you can do 5, that's pretty good. And then they do that non-stop, because that's how they get their fitness. Yeah. It ain't like doing Malcolms and all that sort of shit anymore, because it's all about just making those efforts, kick chasing, sprinting down, making like fucking tackles, and it's relentless.
Well, it's the best way to do it. Keep that intensity. You do short bursts and then you go hard for as low. Yeah,
loading all your energy. And then they'll do one fitness session, but most of the stuff is like, and then they'll do a lot of wrestling. And the wrestling's not like the wrestling we used to do. It's a lot of like contact under the ball, other guy hit your rib, smacking legs, and then it's just like peeling off. And that, you know how intense that shit is. Yeah. That won't stop. They train out at Rob Whittaker's joint out at Camden. Okay, it's fucking huge. It's like 50 metres by 50 metres. It's just in this massive big warehouse. Yeah. So you can do a lot of work there. And so those sessions will go for like an hour and a half. They're fucking intense. Yeah, wow. And that's where you get your fitness from. That's where you get your endurance in your shoulders and everything like that. That's where you get your legs. So it's very methodical. It's very analytical with everything they do. But when they get out on the field, they're out in the field for like 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah. Fuck, imagine today it's 40 degrees.
Yeah, well, it's going to be...
They'll shorten it up a little bit, I think.
Okay. All right, the 2025 games for the Titans, the Carter Gordon from Australian Rugby, that is confirmed. That's a top 30 contract now. He must have been on some sort of development contract when he popped over last year. I know they're excited about Carter Gordon. I think there's a big part, and I was sort of chatting to Foz about that. And we'll chat to him. We'll ask him directly when he comes on. I think him and Des are going to be working on Carter Gordon.
What position is he?
He is the half 5'8". He was at our golf day. He came to our golf day. I think life after Foz is
him.
Is Carter Gordon.
Okay.
Sam Stevenson's on a development contract. Zane Harrison, development contract. Regan Campbell-Gillard, sneaky goodbye. Cooper Bye, train and trial. Spelt the same as Marcus. Wonder if it's family. 2025 losses. Aaron Clark, he's off to the Warriors. Seth Nicotimo, he's off to the Cats. Wakefield Trinity. Isaac Liu, Lee Leopards. Joe Stimson, unsigned. Tanner Boyd, he's playing for the Warriors. And Keenan Palacia's gone over to the Leeds. Right, it didn't quite work out for Palacia.
No.
The Titans, did it? All right, my predicted team: Keanu Kinney fullback, Lofiana Camperera, and Phil Sammy on the wings. I've gone Brian Kelly and Jojo Shafida in the centres.
Right. Yeah. Where you got Brimmer on the bench?
I got Brimmer on 14. Jaden Campbell and Kieran Foran. I'll throw something at you after this too, Mace, because Mo Fodawaker, Sam Verrills, and Regan Campbell-Gillard up front. Really like that. I like a fully fit David Fafita and Bo Famore in the back row with Tino Fasua Malawi. There's a lot to love about this team.
It's one of the best packs in the game.
Now, the chat has been over the last couple of weeks is, and my storyline to you, how we fit him all in together, because the reports coming out of the Titans with Foz and his injury history and getting a little bit older, that he could be playing a Benji type role off the bench in the 14. Again, something we'll ask him directly when he comes on. Maybe give us a little bit of a insight into how they're going to roll, because Munster will be on round 1. The Titans have the bye round 1, so he'll be on round 2. And if he's open to that, whether that excites him. The question for you, do you think Foz could play that Benji type of role that Benji had at the Rabbitohs, where it was Adam Reynolds and Cody Walker, and you see both Brimo and JC. So that's the chat. JC potentially 7, Brimo at 6, Keanu Kinney at fullback.
No, I don't like that. I like Foz being out there because he's a general out there. Benji's a totally different player. Totally different. He's probably a little bit more explosive and he could play anywhere. where I just think Foz he needs to be out there for 80 minutes. I know the longevity and how can he get through a whole season without being injured, and hopefully he can. But I need Foz out there.
Yeah.
His kicking game, just having his he's just got so much experience. He knows how to win games, and he's very he's inspirational. You know, he puts his body in front of the biggest blokes. He puts his head there where you wouldn't put your foot. Like he's just.
That goes a long way with players.
Goes a long way. I think you just need to, Benji didn't have that impact on players. You know, like having Benji out there, he's nowhere near as tough as Foz.
Well, I think the thing that you said, the best, which represents Benji was so much more versatile.
Versatile, mate. You just don't know where he's going to. You don't know. You
could play Benji at hooker. You could play him at fullback.
He could still move. He could still move in 2014.
Wayne played him in the centres sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So Foz can't do that. He's so versatile. He could play, if you want to go, Benji, can you play fullback? Yeah. Okay. Well, Foz is I'm either 9, 7, or 6. That's about it. So you can't really fuck with him like that. Mate, how many years has he got left?
Well, let's ask him when he comes on.
I mean, on his contract.
1 year.
Yeah, this might be it. This might be it. I'll see how his body holds up, but I think.
So who's your perfect spine? Your Des Hasler, you're coaching the Titans this year. Who is your 1, 7, and 6?
Foz, Campbell.
Yep, and
Kinney, yeah. And the 9.
So Brimo, where would you have Brimo then?
Brimo, I'd have him at right centre because I think Kelly is a gun left centre.
Okay.
And a really good defensive centre. Who do you have at the right centre?
Jojo Fafita.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
No. I don't think he's a centre. If he's anything, he's a winger.
Then he
did finish the game all right, but I don't think
the season all right.
I don't think Jojo is going to be in the side.
Okay.
To be honest.
Right. Yep.
Because you got Khan Pereira and you got who's the other winger?
Phil Sammy.
Yep. See, I can't fit Jojo Fafita in there.
Well, the reason Jojo got a lot of footy at the end of last year and played really well with the opportunities because Phil Sammy also missed heaps of footy.
Yeah, they lost a heap.
Yeah.
That forward pack is it's a different beast, that one.
Yeah.
They're fit. They are fit boys as well.
I reckon Regan Campbell-Gillard is the perfect person to be in that. They've always been good front runners, that forward pack. And missing Tino was huge. But getting Tino and Regan, and I reckon that's the reason Regan would have had 3 to 4 teams chasing him. Yeah. He would have looked at that pack at this point of his career and gone, I don't need to be the alpha up there. They've got dogs up there. I come in, do the shitty, do the hard yards. Mo Fodawaker's a dog.
Mo's in his prime.
Yep.
Tino's coming prime. Back from ACL. Fafita, Fermor, all in their prime. They've still got 3 or 4 years of great football. Verrill sort of showed brilliance last year, getting through a full season finally without any injuries.
Imagine being the forwards coach for them, Mason, just getting them fucking motivated before the game. Just
you got the ability to dominate every pack.
Every pack.
Everything.
That's what I'd be telling them every time. I'd just be telling them, this pack's been talking shit.
Just front load, and just unleash every single game. And then our backs, we've got so much class in the backs and so much variety, and they can just do whatever, run good plays. And, when Big Dave Fafita comes back, hopefully he comes back in good nick. Who's going to play? So Fermor will play on that left edge. Who's going to be on the right? If he's not starting.
Then you've got options like Cleese Haas played a little bit there last year. Yeah. I have to let me get the team up. I'll have a look at it. Where were we? That's the Cowboys. That's the Knights. That is the Storm. This is the Manly Warringah Seagulls, Gold Coast Titans. So both former.
Probably Cleese Haas.
Cleese Haas, yeah.
He's probably your best one. He played a fair bit.
And Desi re-signed him for 3 years too.
Yeah, I think he goes good. I think he'll be a lot better this year. So it's all right. So he can hold the fort until Big Dave comes back.
Yep.
And if Dave's underdone, he just plays off the bench for a couple of games. They've got a destructive team.
Yeah.
It's very, very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
You better come with it.
Yeah,
I want to see him succeed. I really want to see him really live up to their potential. Because I don't think they're going to. The window's closing. It's probably got 2 or 3 years.
It's not necessarily the window's closing, but it's enoug's enough if they don't.
Yeah,
they've been that team for 2 or 3 years.
You've had a fair team.
Yeah.
Now you got Des.
It could stay open for 5 years if they don't get it together and just be they're just going to be the Titans again.
Yeah.
Because they've had this sort of talent.
They haven't made the 8.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times there when I was thinking they're going to make top 4.
Yeah. Did they make what year? Did they make the 8 in the first year for Tino's year? Yeah.
And they were carving. They finished in the top 4 and then they just fell a bit. And I think they might have just got the 8th position.
We'll have to
I don't know.
maybe
But
Lukey
yeah.
can check it. 2022, Lukey, I think they made it because
I
they
think
played.
they did. I think
Para.
they did. But I like the
week
way
of
the
finals.
Titans play. I like the way Holbrook come over with the mentality that he did at St Helens. Just fucking play football.
Yeah.
But you got to be at a fitness level where, you got to be up here, and I don't think the Titans are up to that sort of that level of
Sometimes
play.
that's
They wanted
the-
their back rolls behind play 2 when you got Fafita and all these guys. They don't do that.
Yeah. And the trap of being a St Helens coach compared to being Gold Coast is like St Helens, Wigan, Leeds.
You can do that against fucking the weaker clubs.
they're
You
so
can't
much
do that
better.
against that week in, week out.
They finished 13th in 22.
Yeah.
Let me go-
23?
23, let's check. Titans.
When they got beat
No,
by
it was 20,
14th.
Roosters.
21. It was 21. I know they made the finals one of the years.
get back.
I
21.
think so.
Another one, quick one, Marcus Bai, that is his son.
It is his son.
Oh, fuck
shit.
yeah.
How good.
One of the hardest blokes ever to tackle.
Yeah, they made the 8.
21.
Yeah, 21.
21.
And they got beat by the Roosters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam
and
Walker.
someone fucked that game up for him. Oh. He ruined it.
Oh, flick
was a-
pass that went array
It was
on the
puck.
hooter.
Oh, silly.
Qualifier, hang on, view.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. They should have won that game.
Is it young Tonamapia?
Fucking someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, eh? It
was bad.
Should have done a flick pass and then they scored in the corner.
He held
game
it.
over.
He held it.
He
Yeah,
double pumped.
25-24, they lost. To the
Yeah, they should have
Yeah,
won.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I knew it. I was like, yeah.
All right, let's get to the Cowboys. North Queensland Cowboys are paying $4.20 to make the top 4, $2 to make the top 8. I like this one as well, but because I was going the Titans.
You're not Queensland
Oh,
teams, mate.
yeah, no, I stayed away from it. To win the minor, I think that's good value though. To win the minor premiership 17s, grand final winner 17s. This one comes from Dirty Curdy from the Red Cow. Oh, what's the thing called again?
Mad Cow.
Mad Cow. Dirty Curdy.
Is that Red Dogs?
He's regular at the Mad Cow. The boys, hey boys, how much of an impact is the Reece Robson move from the Cowboys going to have? I feel like it hasn't been talked about as much, but it is a huge loss for the Cows. Love your work and how much you have grown in 3 years. Keep it up and looking forward to the season in all of the Triple AG's hard-hitting comments. Because the Reece Robson news happened over the break, mate.
Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Yeah, Roosters deal. It's probably the first big dog the Roosters have got in the last couple of years. They did it around the Christmas time. We haven't had a chat about it because it was probably so far removed. Great signing for the Roosters, in my opinion. And it has the potential for me to unsettle the Cowboys.
Yeah.
If they don't start getting results early in the year, I think it has the potential to, really unsettle
I
them.
think Reece Robson is that sort of person that won't let shit get to him like this. And if anything, it'll unsettle other players.
Yeah.
It won't unsettle him. And I think Toddy Payton knows his players up there. He'll get him. It's good that it got done so far long ago. You know what I mean? So, you can just get into preseason. It's already done. We know what's going on. And then, if it happened right now, fucking hell, footy C, we're all talking about it. Reece Robson, Roosters this. It's already done.
That's a good point. So I've never thought about that before. So when the November 1 deadline opens, you'd much prefer, like we talked about the Ronaldo Mortale thing last week. If you are going to indeed leave and go to a big club, and that's going to be a real position to need for him moving forward, trying to fill that gap. Yeah. You want it done as early as possible so you can plan, get it out of the way, at least have those conversations.
Front the boys. Look, I'm going the Roosters, blah, 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 blah. Done.
Good point.
Absolutely done. I just don't think it's going to be a worry. And I think Robson's going to probably put his best foot forward, try and rip in. He's just one of those guys that you know where you're going to get.
Reliable.
He hits like a truck. He fucking great delivery out of 9, good leader. But great buy for the Roosters, low key. Like you can see why Cheese is out of there. Because he's like, he's this far off an Aussie jersey.
Didn't he play for I think he played for Australia last year. No. Check. Yeah, he did.
Did he? Was he in the squad?
I'm pretty sure he played off the bench for Harry because Benny Hunt didn't make it, remember? Remember Benny Hunt was always 18 and 19?
Did he get it?
Yeah, I think he got it.
he's in there.
Yeah, he got an Aussie jersey last year.
Fuck, yeah, good.
Yeah, he's
he's the dude,
Yeah.
Fuck, did he play?
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he come on and gave Harry spells. Because Hunty didn't. Hunty was 18th man.
No, he played the
Oh, yeah, he didn't play.
No, he didn't play.
Yeah.
Against New Zealand?
No.
No.
Unless Wikipedia is not updated.
No, he
which not-
didn't.
Oh, gotcha.
Played PM's 11, 13, 23.
Go to the rugby league.
He didn't make this.
Jack.
I
That's
swear he
better.
didn't. He wasn't
Okay, so he
in
didn't
it.
get on, but he's
Yeah.
part of the squad.
Was he part of the
He's
squad?
definitely,
He's definitely
in the
part of the
photos
squad.
wearing all the kit.
Yeah,
He's
okay, yeah, but he
definitely
just, he didn't get a crack.
Okay.
But he's
Anyway,
there. He's there. He's there.
Yeah.
And he's still young. He's got a shitload of good football there. But Roosters, low key, great signing.
He could be one of those guys too when you look back on a shitload of Origin jerseys, but because a guy called Harry Grant's in front of him,
Compliment. Yeah.
may very like he could easily play 13.
It's gonna be like a Cam Smith. That's
yeah.
what Harry Grant's going to do.
Yeah.
I think Sam Walker really loved playing with him because like he's the sort of player that Cheese is a runner, right?
Yep.
And it fucks up a lot of things that the Roosters want to do when Sam Walker's on ball all the time. He needs a ball. He needs a ball. So Robson's always from the ground. You watch how he plays.
Yeah.
Always early ball.
Always a perfect ball. too.
Perfect ball. You know, like I think that
He's
really
a plug and play in any
really
system.
compliment the Roosters.
You could
the way
put
they
Robson in
wanna play.
any team and
Yeah.
he'd fucking still be
Throw
the same guy.
30-metre dart.
Yeah. I thought you were going to add something.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. All right, 2025 games for the Cowboys. Carl Lawton, sneaky good buy. I like Carl Lawton. Kai O'Donnell, he comes back from overseas. I believe he is related. He's related to the Donsky.
The Donsky?
Yeah, he's related to the Donsky. I'm pretty sure he is. Jackson Bolo from the Seagulls as well. Johnny Bateman, a sneaky good pickup
Yeah.
considering the Hylam Lukey injury and
Yeah.
losing Kuli Kefu, Fene Fuiaki to the Dolphins.
Yeah, fuck, that's a loss too.
Chad goes down to the Roosters. Jakey Granville, he is retired, or it says released here, but I think he's retired. Kyle Felt also went to St. Helens. Val Holmes is at the Dragons. Jermaine Tenor-Brown, he's retired early, had a couple of injuries as well. And Dejazi Puavase, he's at the Seagulls.
They're going to struggle.
All right, predicted lineup. Do you want to go through the team?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I've got that for my story.
Yeah,
Let's go through the team.
So
So
I just don't think,
Scotty Drinkwater fullback, Semi Valame and Murray Talangi on the wings, Zach Labour, depending on how he comes back from the ACL, which I feel like he did about round 10. I think he's got huge potential. Viliami Valeo got better as the season went on for the Cowboys. Tom Dearden Clifford in the halves. Cohen Hess is back. Been out for missed the entire season. He'll be huge for him. He's going to be required as well. Reece Robson, Jason Tomalolo, but I think there's a world in which Griffin Neem starts over Jace and
McLean, what about? Is he
McLean as well. But I think they might. I think this is the year for Griff. I think
he's done enough.
Yeah. Bateman will slot straight in for Lukey and with Kuli Kefu going. Jeremiah Nanai still on one edge. Ruben Cotter still through the middle. So they've still got a good team. Griffin Neem's the one for me. I think the way that Toddy Payton has eased JT into the seasons is going to be something he'll replicate, just whether it's McLean or I think if I'm Toddy, I'm going, come on, Griff, this is it. Fucking take this position. And Jackson Purdue. I think there's a world in which he beats out Jake Clifford. The other guy is Chester, I believe, Tom Chester. They're excited about him.
So hit the long-haired kid.
Yes. So
Looks like he just plays park football.
Yeah.
Just comes on, just fucking rips in.
Yeah. So Tom Chester, Purdue, and Clifford. I seen a clip from Todd Payton maybe before Chrissy going, they're all competing for it. I'm all giving them a shot at it. So iron sharpens iron, and one of them will come out the other end of it.
I worry about the depth.
Yeah, so are they a genuine threat is my question
They're
for
a
you.
threat, but it's like you throw... Dearden gets injured, the season's done.
Dearden, Smokey, I know you can't, it's not something you can bet on, and I was going to go, we'll do predictions at the end. Dearden Dally M.
Because he's in that team.
This is the team, eh?
They could be a top 10. Yeah, it could be a top 8 team.
Top 16.
Everything goes,
Yep.
And then if they win, it's him.
It's him.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good
shout.
That's a good
Chad's
shout.
gone, so this is his team.
It's his team, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just worry about the depth.
Yeah.
They've lost some really key players like Felt. He's been a heart and soul of that team for 10, 12 years. Fene Fuiaki is a big loss. I didn't think
Val's huge.
Val's massive. Like,
Val had a rough season.
Val had rough seasons defensively. He's just fucking in no man's land sometimes. And then sometimes he was just nailing everyone.
Yeah.
And then he was unstoppable with the ball.
But a presence still.
Just a gun. He just had a bit of a down year defensively. Like, and he just got...
Made a few errors too.
Yeah, it was just uncharacteristic. They They still got the talent to be top 8 side. As I said, from 3rd to 17, these teams can be fucking. It's depending on how Dearden and Ruben Cotter and Taumalolo plays, and like all the key players. Robson, injuries. That's all predicated on that, how good they go. Because you look at that lineup, if they can keep that lineup all year, have a couple of injuries here and there, but everyone play at their peak, bro, they can beat anyone.
I think Toddy he's got a lot of. I don't know if. Maybe because they're out of sight, out of mind, the Cowboys. They're one of those teams that I think people have been sleeping on. We've been high on them for a while now. Toddy Payton's done a good job. I feel like the first year was a rebuild. Then he developed, the talent in – Tommy Dearden was on the scrap heap at the Broncos. Reece Robson, he was a –
Found Nanai, found Lukey.
He got Robson from the Dragons for cheap. Scotty Drinkwater, Melbourne had given up on – very rarely do – Melbourne give up on a player, and
did they give up on him, or did they just go, "Fuck, we just got like these"?
Well, that could have been,
the Pappenhausens, and there
were too many options.
Jerome Hughes was still playing.
Nico Hines was coming through cheap at the time.
I think Drinky went, "Fuck this."
But what he's done with Drinky and some of the players that have been in that system, like Jeremiah,
Cairns boy,
Ruben Cotter's a prime example. Fuck, he was a hybrid hooker. He's developing some players up here in North Queensland. So if they can have a couple more outside of what they've done in the last couple of years,
and they're always developing players.
Yeah.
North Queensland's full of footballers, mate.
They beat themselves. They're similar to the Broncos. There were games where I was watching as a neutral, just so frustrated for everyone that was at the club, going, why do they continually beat themselves in critical moments? And it's like, and it's unforced errors. That's the biggest one. When I watch teams and I look at ill-disciplined teams, it is having a 3-on-2 down the short side and missing the pass, like without contact. That was so many times the Cowboys and Broncos did that last year, where you're just like...
And these are things where coaches will obviously know it. The analytics will show, the film will show, and they'll be just driving that into the players. We can't fucking do this because this leads into this.
Yep.
So once it's in your head and you know that play's not the right play or whatever, you're not going to do it. Still pull the trigger when you have to, play football, but like not making... pushing an offload in your half. In your half, making a mistake is critical.
Yep.
So little things like that they'll address, and if they can do that, they can easily be a top 8 team.
I think they've got
or they
top
could
4.
easily be
They've got top 4 potential.
or finish 12th.
Or finish last.
It's crazy like that. Then would they come this year?
6th.
Yeah, great year for them.
Yeah, they got 7th because they didn't get a home semi, did they? Because that was all the chat around travelling to the.
Who did they got done first round?
No, they won the first round up in Cowboys. Who did they beat? Knights. They beat the Knights.
That's
6
right.
versus 7. All right, let's get to the Dolphins. The Dolphins top 4 to make the top 4, $10. To make the top 8, $3.50. To win the minor premiership and the grand final at the tab with our partners at the tab, $51. This one comes from Cut a Number.
Sorry, question. Why is it such short odds to make the 8 when I'm thinking that's fucking one of the hardest things to get into?
Because there's a 50% chance of doing it, really.
Okay.
Yeah. 45 with the 8 make it, 9 don't.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if you do get a run, you get injury-free.
Yeah.
A few things
Okay.
go your way, momentum early. So they've
Fooled
got
me as well, mate. My prices earlier.
These two were going hectic on it. It's probably a little bit more like when you think about there are probably going to be 4 teams that we lock into it, and then there's 4 more opportunities. That's where you probably go, that might be not the value you're
Hard to
expecting,
pick
but
top 8.
very hard. Yeah. So they don't want to give away, you give just say $5 for the Dolphins. That's way more appealing than the $3.50 you might go.
I think they should be $5.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's more of a realistic number for them as well. Just because of the Wayne Bennett factor, which we'll get to in a bit. This one comes from Cut a Number. Can't wait for the chat around the Dolphins. One thing I've been thinking about as a strength of ours is our different possible halves combinations to switch it up according to who we are playing. Nicarima and Katoa should be the starting halves, but O'Sullivan and Avarillo have shown that they can get in there and do a job as well. Last year, Wayne switched up to great success at the end of the year. Wondering if we might get this happening more often to keep opposing teams guessing. Fins up.
Fuck no. You're not putting Sullivan at 7 and Avarillo, right? Averillo's a gun right centre.
No, he's not necessarily saying them together as the combination.
Like it could be Katoa and Averillo.
Yes, it could be Katoa and O'Sullivan. It could be Nicarima and O'Sullivan. He's just saying he likes the depth.
Yeah,
it's
good depth, but to build continuity and
you want the
relationships,
guys.
You need Katoa and you need Nicarima just to have a bond, build this relationship, and then just run the team because they've both got so much talent and they bring different. Nicarima had a sneaky good year last year. Probably one of his best years for a couple of years.
I reckon he's played really well up there.
Defensively, outstanding.
Yep.
He pulled the trigger when he had to. Katoa, first year in the NRL, was outstanding.
And he played the year before.
Did he?
Yeah,
a couple
he
of
did.
games?
Second year. No, he did. He played a chunk, got dropped by Wayne both years at times.
So it's a learning curve for him.
Yep.
Right? And Wayne knows, and that's the beauty of Wayne. He knows when these young kids need a rest. There's not many young kids going out there like that and running a whole team. He was carving some things, like he was running a whole team, the Dolphins team. He's 18, 19.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. Mentally, it's the mental toll. And that's where Wayne goes, all right, kid, go back, have a bit of joy in reserve grade or something like that, and then I'll bring you back up.
I had a chat to Isaiah at the golf day, and he said Wayne communicated with him along the entire way.
You're not just getting, hey, you're in reserve grade.
Yeah.
It's like, this is why I'm putting you back, mate. Because longevity, I want you to be a 10, 15-year player.
He's got such a mature head on. He's like the way he spoke about, where he's at right now and what he needs to work on, and hearing the noise around when he was going well. Because I go back to similar to the Lachlan Galvin situation where when you get Joey and Matty Johns talking about,
it's the Joey curse.
Yeah. No, in terms you're doing something right in that position when Joey and Matty and Cooper Cronk and all these speak highly of you. And he had a lot of that.
He's doing shit.
I feel like Joey was talking about him heap on the Sunday Footy show.
He's doing stuff that vets do.
Yeah.
The way that he's going to the line and digging in and squaring up and I speak to Joey all the time. He goes, you don't develop that until your 6th or 7th year. You're more pass, more run. Now you really got to account for his running ability now.
Is that the one thing Joey said that he needs to improve on? No,
he goes, his running game will come.
Yeah, okay.
He goes, the way that what he's doing now is absolutely outstanding.
He's ahead of
his time, right?
Schedule.
And then now, I think at Penrith he showed that he could run, and he was, because he digs so far into the line, and they come up and then they check, they go out, boom, dummy. So he's got a big trick bag.
You know what I said to him at the golf day? I said, bro, sometimes I look at you and you look too relaxed.
Yeah,
I said,
nothing phases him.
I said, you understand what I mean by that? Where it's just a little, at a little percentage where you're like, all right, you kicked a 40-20 and you just did it and you're like rats. You don't have to go overboard, but just say, for example, when Ches kicks a field goal, and he looks away and he turns at someone and gives him a wink. Yeah. He doesn't have to go Yahoo, but just get a little bit of
just a bit of swag about it.
A little bit of swag, a little bit of shit. Yeah.
But it's
cool swag.
Demeanor.
Yeah. He's chilled out swag.
He would do a mad thing and be like,
yeah. Oh. He just runs like normal, like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Which is
you just won the game for him.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see the chat. Again, this is all just pre-season chat. Averillo's been playing 6. Jumping in at 6.
Yeah, right.
Bostock has been playing a bit of centres because they got Junior Tupou up from the West Tigers. So they've been flirting with...
goes good.
Flirting. And this is just... I've gone on a few pages and seen a few of the rumours and how the squads... I might have been on a super coach. Timmy Williams had put something up. So, yeah, that's where they're flirting with a few positions there. But Junior Tupou comes up from the West Tigers. Kuli Kefu Finate Fuyaki comes from the Cowboys. Daniel Saifidi from the Knights. Max Fiangai from the Dragons. They lose to Vida. He goes to Catalans. Edric Lee's retired. Ewan Aiken, Rabbitohs. Jared Wallace retired playing Nines tournaments. Jesse Bromwich. Oh, he would have been good to get for the Nines tournament, actually. Tessie New, he's at the Lee Leopards. Valence Tamadas, he's playing Japanese rugby and dominating over
dominating,
there.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Simbican, he's at Castlewood Tigers. The MILF, he's unsigned. Seen him at the Nines as well. Good catch up with the MILF. And Robert Jennings is still unsigned as well. My predicted team, Hamaso Tabuai Fido, fullback Jermaine Asako and Jack Bostock so far on the wings. I like Averillo and Herbie in the centres. I like Cody at 6. I like Isaiah at 7. Saifidi takes Jesse Bromwich's spot. Jersey Flegler is the big question mark.
I heard he's going to probably miss another year.
All right, so if Flegler's not there, I'm moving Felice up front and putting Kulikefu into the back row.
Easy.
That's a good swap.
With who?
So Daniel Saifidi and Felice Kafusi and Kulikefu and Tom Gilbert is back.
Yeah, fucking like that.
Seeing Tom Gilbert
and the Plath.
And the Plath.
Yeah.
That's a tough pack.
Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough working pack.
Yeah. How do the Dolphins avoid the Wayne Bennett hangover? How do they do it, Mace?
I think Wolfie he's the guy for it. The way that he's brought that Tongan team.
Have you had much to do with Wolfie over the years?
He was at the Bulldogs when I was there. I think he was a Harold Matts coach.
Okay, so he's done his time.
In 2006 or something like that. So he's done his time. He's a student of the game. He's a people's person.
He's a big body. Did he play?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I know he's got a lot of respect. I've always had a great relationship with him, and I think him being around there for the last 2 years and with that team, they respect him. He's probably been coming up with a lot of these plays anyway. Wayne's just there.
Yeah,
Wayne is always there. He's a presence. He's a man manager. He cares about the people. But Wolfie just would have been doing a lot of the coaching, a lot of the video. Whoever the other assistant coaches would have been doing a lot of that. So I don't think the transition is going to be hard. It's just, you can't replace Wayne Bennett, right? His presence, his aura, just to be in the same shed with it. When you're running out and he's talking to you, it gives you a different level of confidence. You think you can fucking win every game. He has that aura when you come off the field and you that's why a lot of people want to play for Wayne. It's like playing for your dad or your granddad. It's like him watching there and just going, you don't want him to be disappointed in you.
So that's the part
that's what you can't replicate, where they'll love Wolfie.
Don't want to let him down.
They'll love him, but you just don't want to let Wayne down. When I was playing for Newcastle, I played some of my best football up there. I was 32, 33 and 34. I'm like, just because of the love I had for Wayne.
Yeah, the amount of respect you had for him.
I didn't want him to go, you played shit, Mace. Yeah. It's your fault. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just like, no. And I love playing for Newcastle. I'm a Newcastle boy, but having me being back at Newcastle and then the Wayne Bennett factor as well, that's why I was playing so good.
Do you think a thing could help? I know there have been coaches that have been with Wayne at clubs, but they started it together. They started this journey, this club together, which is super unique. I know Wayne was at the start of the Broncos and there would have been people involved, but it's a 2-year period. Wayne was always leaving. Too. And this playing group have known that Wolfie's been a part of the build.
And they knew Wayne was going as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So everything Wolfie would have been done. They know what Wayne's about. And they know the mindset and everything like that, how to prepare for games. And I think that's what Wayne would have been installing into, especially a lot of these young kids. And I think guys like Jesse Bromwich and buying these senior players from Melbourne, driving that culture, setting the culture, how to train, how to play, how to approach games, has been very strategic because he knew he was going to leave, and then leaving it all to Wolfie. So I don't think they'll fall off that much. They'll be fighting for that 8 spot, which they have been in and out for the last couple of years. They've been very unlucky, dropping some games when they should have. There's a couple of games where they need to win 2 or 3 games.
I feel like the Origin periods really hurt them around that time as well.
So I think they just need to execute a couple more, drag a couple of those games, and they'll be, because there's a couple of times there during the year, they were in the 8 for what? 12 weeks?
Well, they started
14 weeks, then they started slipping, then they went back in, and then they were fighting for that 8 spot, and then other teams sort of jumped them, and then they lost, and then next minute you're 13, and everyone's tied on 24 or something like that for the last 8 weeks, and and then they lost those games, and it just fucked them.
Yeah, they're thereabouts first year up until about Magic Round, then really dramatically fell off, but that was to be expected. And then last year, I think the Penrith game cost them.
Yeah, and the Dogs game as well. Dogs up,
but they had that game against Penrith with them missing players and Nathan coming back.
Yeah, you're right.
They slipped on that game, and then it affected them mentally.
Correct. They were in the 8th position then, and then as of August 17, they dropped to the 9th, which was round 24.
Yeah. There was a game that the Dogs had to play him, and they were both on even points.
That game, that's the game.
That's the game, and it was tight.
That was
30-10
game,
It was tight. We scored in the last thing. Kicks killed it on the sideline. On the edge. But they had that game.
That was when,
that fucking made us go woof.
Yeah,
like that, and they just went down, Christian, woof.
Shout out to Rugby League Project website.
By the way, too. I've seen some stuff around Hammer. he reckons he did some speed stuff to him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Just exactly what he needs.
Well, the thing was, right, and he said this, and
I love this. I
he
love the hammer, mate.
He confirmed what we've always said about him. He goes, I always just run around at 80%, like 70, 80%, because he's worried about injuries. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, the concern was, like, he reckons if he was to unload and go full speed, he was, worried about getting injured.
Oh, okay.
But now I think he's going to implement a little bit more.
Well,
speed
he needs
work.
to train at that high octane level.
Yeah,
and that's the thing with sprint training and sprint coaches like the great Ruben, who's at the Bulldogs. Like, you try and get them to peel off at 100, but they won't, sort of thing. But you can't. How are you supposed to go at 100 in a game when you train at 80?
Yeah.
When you train at 80. So when
much.
you're like with Roger Fabry and all these guys, it's pure speed. That's why a lot of them go on the preseason to go train with Rog, because you're really letting it go. Where at training, they tell you to go about 85 and they'll do 85. So in a game, like I'm talking about the OBs especially. Forwards, we're just fucking powering over 20, 30 metres, 60 metres
OBs,
max.
outside backs.
Outside backs. So like your Foxes and Cherries and they do it. They go on fast, but it's not that full tilt where they do train with a Roger Fabry, and like he makes them do. Like, you got to get off at 100%.
You know what I want to see?
You've got to train the way you play, right? And the guys like who get in the clear a fair bit, like the Hammer, like I think he's one of the quickest guys in the comp, easily. Because he just like he'll turn it off and on. Like, imagine having that ability. Like when he got Fox, he's like,
so fast.
He's like,
were you looking for the article?
Like Fox was like 10 meters in front, and then he's like, should I get him?
Might as well.
Oh, I'll get him. Just be. That's what it looked like. He goes, wow, I could probably get him. Is my hamstring feeling good? Yeah, it's feeling good.
You know what I want to see for the Bulldogs this year, and a new rule allowing, in basketball, when you get a fractured eye, you get the glasses. I want to see Bronson Sherry with his speed dealers that he runs with when he does the training with Rog, being able to wear them in a game.
Get the LeBron mask.
The Horace Grant.
Yeah.
The strapped-on glasses. When Bronson Sherry looking the Mickey, I've seen those clips that they've got.
You'll have a gun year this year,
yeah,
Bronson. For what he did, 4 years, let's give that kid his flowers. 4 years out of the game, paid his price, the ultimate price for his fuck-up. Comes back, starts a year in the reserve grade, ends up being the absolute fucking king at the end of the year. Line break after line break, setting Fox up. Mate, don't worry. Don't be surprised if he finds himself in a Blues jersey in the next couple of years, because like he's that dude. He was touted as that dude before, and he was a young kid. Now, the amount of detail, how fit he is, and like he's just gone to another level. He's got everything, man.
Oh yeah,
and he's a fucking super kid. And the thing what he's got now is gratitude.
Yeah,
he will train as hard as he can every single day. Will not complain. He goes, mate, because I was digging fucking holes for 2 years. He goes, I'm not complaining about anything. I don't care.
There's no hard day.
There's nothing. There's no hard days for him. It's 40 degrees. It'll be 44 out at Belmore. Yeah. He'll be fucking out there just ripping in. Yeah. And that's what you got to love about a guy. And then that's infectious to other players as well. They're like, this dude did 4 years. He was digging holes. Now he's back in he's living the dream again. So I love Bronze.
That's awesome.
Round one back against Wayne.
Who's that? Dolphins
is Rabbits round one. They're good. They're good. Fucking they're too good. So there you go. There's the Queensland division. Coming up on Thursday, we'll be back in a couple of days. Distance division, which will be the Warriors, the Knights, the Raiders, Manly and the Storm, and then we'll finish off with the Beaches.
I love that. I like that comp.
Yeah. It's a good division.
Yeah, it's a very good division. Canberra's especially.
Canberra. Dirty dogs. The dog of all dogs down there. Dogs. Led by the dog of all dogs.
Ricky.
All right, we'll see you on Thursday for the distance division. Get your questions in, some really good ones. We said at the top of the episode, there have been so many good comments that I'm even leaving some behind through to the keeper. They're that good, so keep it up. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.